slanted, my reflection's still there. The marquees, they all read now, appearing nowhere, appearing nowhere, now appearing nowhere.
The Western Ghats and the Pamba Valley are built upon Precambrian rocks more than 2.5 billion years old, forming the stable crust of peninsular India. The uplift of the Ghats during the Paleocene, around 68 to 54 million years ago, created the escarpments and plateaus that later weathered into thick laterite soils during the Eocene and Miocene, between 53 and 10 million years ago. By the Neogene, less than 22 million years ago, rivers such as the Pamba and Periyar had carved valleys through these ridges, setting the stage for the reservoirs and hydroelectric projects of the modern era. The forests that clothe these valleys are relics of evolutionary time. Dipterocarps and Cullinia trees, whose lineage stretches back more than 40 million years, dominate the canopy. Bamboo and teak diversified in the Miocene, while shola patches in higher ridges are remnants of cooler Pleistocene climates less than 2 million years ago. The fauna reflects deep time. Elephants, gaurs, and sambar deer diversified during the Miocene. Nilgiri tar adapted to escarpments during the late Neogene. Tigers and leopards belong to the Panthera radiation of the Pleistocene, and lion-tailed macaques are relic primates of Oligocene dispersals, confined today to the evergreen forests of the Ghats. Birds such as hornbills and drongos reflect Paleogene niches, while raptors embody Miocene aerial predation. Amphibians and reptiles, including endemic frogs and king cobras, are Gondwanan survivors whose divergence dates back to the Cretaceous, more than 65 million years ago. Human presence in this region predates kingdoms. Tribal groups such as the Malavadan, Aladdin, and Manan lived by hunting, gathering, and shifting cultivation, and their rituals at Ponnambala meedu, including the lighting of lamps during Makaravalakku, remain part of the cultural memory. Later, the Pandalam kingdom, flourishing between the 12th and 15th centuries, linked the region to the legend of Lord Ayyappa and the pilgrimage to Sabarimala. The Pandalam rulers provided patronage to the temple, embedding the sacred geography of the Pamba Valley into Kerala's political and cultural history. In the colonial period, British surveyors and planters entered the forests, carving estates in Vandaperiyar and Gavi. Gavi village itself became a settlement, and historical records support the oral accounts that part of its population, around 1,500 people, were transplanted Tamil laborers. Under the 1964 Sirimavo Shastri Pact and later agreements, India repatriated estate Tamils from Sri Lanka who had been disenfranchised there. Many were settled in Kerala's forested interior, including Gavi, where they cleared land and worked in cardamom plantations. This colonial and post-colonial presence left traces in estate ruins and in the demographic fabric of the village. After independence, the forests were reclaimed under the Periyar Tiger Reserve, and Gavi became a center of eco-tourism. The Kerala Forest Development Corporation developed Gavi as a model for sustainable tourism, making it one of the first ecotourism projects run by a government department in Kerala. Visitors could experience the reserve's biodiversity while supporting conservation, and the project became a benchmark for balancing livelihoods with forest protection. At the same time, the Sabarigiri hydroelectric project, commissioned in 1966, harnessed the rivers of the Pamba Basin. Dams at Kakki, Moozhiyar, Gavi, Kullar, Meenar, and Maniyar created reservoirs feeding into one of Kerala's largest powerhouses, generating electricity from rivers incised by Neogene uplift. Today, the KSRTC Priyadarshini bus from Pathanamthitta to Kumily carries pilgrims, travelers, and researchers across this layered landscape. The route passes through the sacred geography of Sabarimala and Ponnambala meedu, the tribal traditions of the hills, the Pandalam legacy, the the colonial traces of Gavi, the transplanted Tamil settlements, and the engineering marvels of the Sabarigiri project. It is a journey through geological epochs, evolutionary lineages, political histories, and modern development, all written into the ridges, rivers, and forests of Kerala's Western Ghats, UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Don't know if I can find my way out. I'm stuck in a prison of doubt. In this torsion, and everything is growing up tight. There's no room to breathe. And nobody is watching at night. I wanna rise up. Need a friend to shake me out again. Need a friend to shake me out again. I don't know if I can find my way out. In this and everything is growing up tight. There's no room to breathe. Fall into the ocean.
The Western Ghats rose during the Paleocene around 68 million years ago, their escarpments and valleys later carved by monsoon rains. By the Miocene, between 23 and 5 million years ago, elephants, gaurs and sambar deer diversified, while shola forests adapted to cooler climates of the Pleistocene 2 million years ago. These evolutionary lineages still thrive in Periyar's forests, making the reserve a living museum of prehistoric life. Tribal groups such as the Malavadan, Aladdin and Manan inhabited the Pamba Valley long before kingdoms, practicing shifting cultivation and rituals at Ponnambala meedu. By the 12th century the Pandalam kingdom rose, linking the region to the legend of Lord Ayyappa and the pilgrimage to Sabarimala. British surveyors entered the Ghats in the 19th century, carving estates in Vandaperiyar and Gavi. By the early 20th century Tamil laborers were settled in plantations, some repatriated under the Sirimavo Shastri Pact of 1964 from Sri Lanka. Estate ruins and demographic shifts remain visible in Gavi village today. The Periyar Tiger Reserve was established in 1950 and later expanded to 925 square kilometers. It shelters tigers, leopards and endemic birds. The Sabarigiri Hydroelectric Project, commissioned in 1966, created reservoirs at Kakki, Moozhiyar and Gavi, embedding engineering into the landscape. In the 1980s and 1990s Kerala pioneered eco-tourism, and Gavi became one of the first government-run eco-tourism projects, balancing conservation with livelihoods. Kerala's post-independence politics shaped eco-tourism. Land reforms of the 1950s through the 1970s redistributed estates, while left-leaning governments promoted conservation. The Supreme Court's order of 2022 on eco-sensitive zones triggered protests, showing how political negotiation continues to define visitor access. In 2025 labor strikes at Gavi halted tourism, exposing tensions between workers and eco-tourism management. A journey to Gavi is therefore not just scenic but layered with epics and events, from prehistoric forests and tribal traditions to colonial plantations, hydroelectric projects and political disputes. It is a landscape where geological time, cultural memory and contemporary politics converge, offering the visitor both beauty and complexity. The forests around Gavi are not only shaped by rivers and dams but also by ambitious infrastructure projects that have left ecological marks. The proposal for a Sabarimala railway line was first raised in the 1990s, with surveys in 2009 suggesting a link from Chenganur to Pamba. Though never completed, the idea of cutting through the Western Ghats alarmed conservationists, who warned of deforestation and landslides. Similarly, the Sabarimala airstrip proposal surfaced in 2012, with land allocation near Cheruvali estate debated in 2017. These plans were tied to pilgrimage traffic but also threatened fragile forest corridors adjoining Gavi and the Periyar Tiger Reserve. The Mullaperiyar Dam, built in 1895, diverted Periyar waters eastward, sparking disputes that continue today, while the Idukki Dam of 1976 created one of Asia's largest arch dams. Both altered hydrology and intensified flood risks downstream. The Great Flood of 1924 devastated Travancore, and the 2018 flood showed how dam mismanagement and blocked drainage worsened natural disasters. These events prove that human interventions in river systems have repeatedly collided with monsoon fury. Timber smuggling and wildlife hunting were rampant through the 20th century, with Nilamber and Periyar's elephants targeted until raids in the 1980s curbed the trade. Mineral exploitation in Kollam and Ernakulam scarred landscapes, while weed cultivation and illegal extraction of medicinal plants fed black markets. By the 1990s and 2000s, nouveau riche elites driven by Gulf remittances and real estate speculation pressed for airports and highways, colliding with environmental protection caps. In 2026, the People's Environmental Charter demanded RIDGE to see ecological governance, climate-tagged budgeting and missions for rivers and wetlands, placing limits on unchecked development. From Dravidian tribal traditions through Buddhist and Hindu layers to secular modern Kerala, culture has mirrored ecological struggle. Kathakali once dramatized mythic battles, while cinema now depicts floods, smuggling and survival, as in films after the 2018 flood. For a visitor to Gavi, these events are not distant history but living context. The Pampa and Periyar rivers that shape the reserve, the Mullaperiyar and Idukki dams that regulate its waters, the floods that remind of nature's force, and the railway and airstrip proposals that reveal how pilgrimage and politics intersect with deteriorating forests of the Western Ghats. This connects Gavi tourism to Kerala's wider trajectory. Sabarimala Railway Line, Sabarimala Airstrip, Mullaperiyar Dam, Idukki Dam, 1924 flood, 2018 flood, and the 2026 Environmental Charter. These proofs show how hydrology, exploitation, politics and culture converge in the forests a visitor walks through today.
Storms on the roof, secrets whispered, bulletproof. We build worlds out of steel. Now they're ruins of something we feel. It's so nice to get away, if just for a moment, if just for a day. We can drive past the signs, over the borders of our mind. 'Cause today's a beautiful day. Why would anyone take that away? Can we stay? Let's just stay. It's a beautiful, wonderful day. We rode our bikes down broken streets. We chased the sun, chased the sun. The day was great, we made it shine. And you were mine, you were mine. The world outside can fall apart. I don't care, I don't care, as long as I can have your heart. 'Cause you have mine, you have mine. Don't forget what's beneath the concrete. There's a wonderful world beneath the concrete. We can dance all night and break the concrete. Flowers will bloom and cover the streets. Don't forget what's beneath the concrete. It's coming through the cracks and through the concrete. We can dance all night and break the concrete. Flowers will bloom and cover the streets. Today's a beautiful day. Why would
In early 2025, under the left Democratic Front government, the Gavi labor strike exposed the fragility of Kerala's eco-tourism sector. The strike began in January when Kerala Forest Development Corporation workers resisted redeployment to plantation duties and protested neglect of basic needs, lasting several weeks and halting all tourism. Before this, Gavi had been drawing steady visitor inflows, but tensions had been building for months as workers felt excluded from decision-making and burdened by poor facilities. During the strike, bookings were cancelled, visitors turned away, and local communities dependent on tourism faced sudden losses. Afterwards, government negotiations attempted resolution, but trust between workers and management weakened, leaving ecotourism credibility damaged and visitors aware that access could be disrupted by labor politics rather than ecological limits. The crisis was sharpened by structural underemployment and corruption. Surveys across 29 destinations revealed nearly 872 workers casually engaged, with more than 60% reporting fewer than 20 working days per month, earning irregular daily wages of 300 rupees 500 rupees. Private security guards outsourced to agencies earned only 8,000 rupees minus 10,000 rupees per month, often below minimum standards, while vigilance raids in 2023 uncovered staff siphoning off 35,000 rupees 40,000 rupees monthly through fee evasion and hotel kickbacks. These figures showed how informal labor and corruption converged, leaving ecotourism neither socially secure nor financially transparent. Equally damaging was the absence of qualified ecological expertise. Ecotourism centers were largely managed by forest staff and tourism officers without scientific training, leaving fragile landscapes exposed to mass tourism. Out of 80 destinations, only 18 had formal carrying capacity studies, while 72 lakh tourists visited ecotourism centers in 2024, overwhelming ecosystems without uniform checks. Recommendations from the Gadgil panel for strict ecological safeguards were sidelined by political bargaining, and in Wayanad unchecked inflows led to court-ordered closures lasting 2.5 years. Safety audits remained incomplete, and ecological science was subordinated to political negotiation. The convergence of underemployment, corruption, and unqualified management under the LDF in 2025 meant ecotourism was neither socially secure nor ecologically sustainable. Workers faced exploitation, visitors encountered sudden closures, and fragile forests bore the brunt of mismanagement. The Gavi strike became emblematic of a deeper crisis. Ecotourism in Kerala was not only about conserving nature but about confronting systemic failures in labor rights, governance, and ecological expertise, with numbers and events showing how fragile the balance between environment and society had become.